By the early 17th century, Rome had a population of over 200,000 people. The streets were alive with merchants, pilgrims, and noble families, all moving beneath the shadow of monumental churches and palaces. This was a city where history, religion, and power intertwined at every corner. In this video, I use modern AI tools to bring historic paintings, engravings, and prints to life. We can shift perspective, change camera angles, and move through the same scenes in ways their original artists never could. First, I want to talk about the Piazza Navona. The piazza stretches long and narrow, following the shape of the ancient stadium of Domitian. In the foreground, craftsmen and street performers entertain crowds, while merchants display fine textiles and ceramic wares. The fountains, especially the Fontana dei Quattrofili by Bernini, glint in the midday sun, water catching the light, as it cascades into the stone basins. By this century, the piazza had become both a marketplace and a center for public gatherings. Contemporary accounts describe heated debates between street vendors and city officials as authorities tried to regulate trade and maintain order. Over time, renovations refined the fountains and piazza layout. Today, this space still pulses with life, though now tourists carry cameras instead of baskets of goods. Asterisk, the ancient amphitheater, dominates the skyline in the midground, its arches framing the city beyond. By the 1600s, much of the upper seating had crumbled, but the arena itself remained a symbol of Rome's imperial legacy. Farmers and artisans navigate its ruins, collecting stones or carving inscriptions. Fires and neglect posed constant threats, and occasional thefts of marble were common. Yet the Colosseum mattered greatly, not only as a reminder of Roman power, but also as a source of building materials for new churches and palaces. Later centuries would see extensive preservation efforts, and today it stands as one of the most visited landmarks in the world. Asterisk in the foreground, scaffoldings and workmen swarm the site. By the 1620s, the grand dome designed by Michelangelo towers over the Vatican, yet cranes and ropes still dominate the skyline. Pilgrims wind through the piazza below, their footsteps echoing on cobblestones. The smell of whetstone and sawdust mixes with incense drifting from nearby chapels. Crowds sometimes clash, especially when papal ceremonies draw enormous throngs. St. Peter's mattered as the spiritual heart of the Catholic world and a symbol of papal authority. By the century's end, much of the Basilica was complete, creating the image of the Vatican we recognize today. Asterisk, columns rise from rubble, their capitals catching the soft light. Merchants set up early stalls, selling bread, oil, and textiles. Street dogs and chickens weave among the feet of senators' descendants and ordinary citizens. By the 1600s, the Forum was no longer the political hub it had been in antiquity, but it remained a vital center of commerce and religious memory. Occasionally, disputes erupt over land and access, while the threat of collapse from unmaintained ruins was ever present. Today, these remnants are preserved as part of an open-air museum, giving visitors a tangible link to both ancient and early modern Rome. The square is alive with traders shouting over the crowd, their carts spilling with fruit, spices, and flowers. Nearby, taverns serve wine to patrons in simple wooden stools. By this century, public executions also take place here, a grim reminder of justice and order. The scent of fresh bread mixes with smoke from cooking fires, while pickpockets exploit the chaos. Campo de' Fiori mattered for everyday commerce and civic gatherings, and the square would later be landscaped to create the space we know today. With its famous statue of Giordano Bruno, asterisk narrow, winding streets climb from the riverbanks, lined with terracotta rooftops and ivy-covered walls. Fishermen mend nets along the river's edge, while children play near the water. By the 1600s, this quarter is home to artisans, laborers, and immigrants, giving it a lively, but sometimes unruly character. Floods threaten the lower streets, and occasional skirmishes between families create tension. Trastevere mattered as a hub of crafts and local culture. Later renovations would regularize the streets and improve drainage, but its charm survives, now a favorite for visitors seeking authentic Roman life. Angels and saints sculpted by Bernini line the bridge, their expressions frozen in stone. Carriages rattle across the cobblestones, while pilgrims pause to admire the artistry. By the early 1600s, the bridge is a key crossing point to the Vatican, crowded with merchants and beggars alike. Storms can make the river dangerous, and pickpockets thrive in the chaos. The bridge mattered as both a functional crossing and a devotional path. Today, it still spans the Tiber, offering views that echo its historic significance. The squares. Elegant trapezoidal shape opens to the eye, its geometric symmetry emphasized by the steps and statues. Citizens and visitors mingle, while guards patrol the steps to the Senate Palace. By the 1600s, the piazza reflects the Renaissance vision of civic order. Political debates occasionally spark tension, but the space conveys authority and prestige. Later modifications enhance accessibility and preservation. Today, the square remains a symbol of Roman governance and architectural brilliance. The grand portico dominates the foreground, columns silhouetted against the fading light. Traders and travelers linger, talking and exchanging news. By the 1600s, the Pantheon serves as a church and burial site, with light filtering through the oculus to illuminate marble tombs. The threat of structural decay is present, yet care from the church preserves its majesty. The Pantheon mattered as a link between ancient Rome and the spiritual life of the city. Today, it remains remarkably intact, a testament to enduring craftsmanship. Carriages, pedestrians, and vendors fill the street, moving past palaces and shops. By this century, it is a primary route for commerce and parade, connecting piazzas and monuments. Crowds push and jostle, sometimes leading to accidents or disputes. Its importance lies in trade and urban cohesion. Over time, paving and building improvements streamline traffic, creating the thoroughfare we know today. Though incomplete in the 1600s, the area begins to take shape as a social and cultural meeting point. Locals bring flowers, chat, and observe travelers. By this period, political unrest occasionally flares in nearby streets, but the space foreshadows the elegance to come. Today, the steps are a celebrated meeting place, connecting centuries of urban life. Rome in the 1600s comes alive through these streets, squares, and monuments. By walking through this high reconstruction, we can feel the pulse of the city, its sounds, its smells, and the movements of people long gone. It is remarkable how close the past can feel when we step into it, even for just a few minutes. If there's another city or moment you'd like to explore in this way, let me know in the comments. Again, thank you so much.